Okay. We're about to do a little bit of no looks film session again, but this time I'm gonna just explain everything because the new Madden 24 has just dropped and there's a lot of controversy. It's self-warranted, honestly. It's their fault for where they're at right now. But I do want to explain to you how we got here, because this isn't by accident. So let's rewind back a little bit. Back in 2000, Madden franchise was on Nintendo 64. That was the new gen. And then by the time you got to 2004, 2005, Madden finally reached its peak. It was on Xbox and it was on PlayStation 2. So then you fast forward just a little bit more, and then you reach Madden 07 on the Xbox and PlayStation 2. And people say that is the greatest Madden that has ever come out. Still to this day. Okay, so if you think about it, Madden 2002 with Dante Culpepper, on GameCube, PlayStation, all that other stuff. Go all the way to Madden 2007. That's a good 5 to 6 years. By the time you get to Madden 08, the new gen for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
One nipple, two nipples, three nipples. Oh, hell no, I'm out of here.
When Madden 08 comes out, it's a little bit more bare bones. They almost start from scratch. It feels like you didn't build off Madden 07. You just started over again. By the way, Madden 09 had a rewind. That was one of the worst features we ever had. Then you fast forward to Madden 11, Madden 12. Just so happens that happens to be one of the best games on the new gen consoles. From Madden 08 to Madden 12, that's a good 4 years. So then you get to Madden 13, aka Madden 25. And that was the beginning of the PS4, Xbox One consoles. So it's well known, right, that Madden 25 is the worst Madden of the new gen. So you fast forward from 13 to 14 all the way to 18. 18 becomes the pinnacle of the PS4, Xbox One consoles. From 13 to 18, I would assume that's 5 years. You go to Madden 19, it's one of the worst Maddens. It has Antonio Brown on the cover. Go to Madden 20, I think Gronkowski was on it. I liked it a little bit. I had a little stake in it though. There's a Madden 20 playlist on NOLA Gaming. I have a whole league. It's an all-time league. I did a super sim and watched everything. Michael Vick was going crazy. The Bengals were going crazy. I loved it. You get to Madden 21, then you have the Xbox X and the PS5. Now, it is a well-known fact, if you are a Madden fan and have been playing Madden for a long time, at least for a decade maybe or so, then everyone knows Madden 21 was by far the worst Madden on the new gen, now current gen. So then you get to Madden 22, Madden 23, now Madden 24. That is 3 years. If we're actually counting what was happening before, right? from 21 to 24 is 3 years, then the best Madden is supposed to come the 4th to 5th year, which would be Madden 2025. I don't know what they're going to call it. And if they build on top of that, on top of what they're going to use as the top of the line gaming for the current gen, then Madden 26 is going to be even better. And those two games are going to be the top of the top for the current gen consoles. But right now we're at Madden 24.
Disappointed!
That's almost the problem. All right, I have a love-hate relationship with Madden. I love Madden sometimes, and sometimes
4 fucking seconds! It took you 4 fucking seconds to piss me off again!
Sometimes they try to fix these things, patch these things, smooth these things over, and it just doesn't seem right. It just never really holds up to the advertising that they have. There's a lot of companies being sued for false advertising. EA should be one of them. Within my love-hate relationship with them, I seem to develop somewhat of a mastery when it comes to the video game and real football. I know real football because I played real football for basically my entire teenage life. I stopped playing football at 18. At the same time, I started at 6 years old. That's a long time of just playing football. And I didn't just play it, I studied it. I knew it like the back of my hand. But at the same time, you have to study Madden also, because sometimes Madden isn't just football, especially when you're setting it up. So as I've become a connoisseur when it comes to this Madden game, I realize to the average person, Madden has taught you nothing. When it comes to sliders and gameplay, Madden has taught you nothing. When it comes to game plan and actual football, let me tell you, Madden has taught you nothing. And that's fine, because I'm here to tell you about all of this stuff. But I have to show you better than I could tell you. So we're going to have to get into No Looks film session. And it's going to be a little detailed, a little nuanced, but it has to be done. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm okay with the old gen at this very moment. It won't be forever, but at the same time, there's some things that I see that are within the earlier years of when Madden does their thing. And I'm waiting just a little bit longer for them to get their act together. So let's get it started. First of all, the footage I'm using is from X1 Wise Guy. A lot of this is Madden error. Some of it is user error. Not trying to go against anybody. But, you know, I just kind of want to show y'all what is what. Because things get confusing when it comes to user and Madden error. It can be very nuanced. So the first thing I want to say though is there's a fluidity problem. It's been happening with the newer games. It's not just Madden. As you can see, 2K. When I was playing 2K19, the fluidity of me dribbling was just so beautiful. And then 2K23, it's kind of choppy, right? There's a fluidity problem when it comes to the game's upgrading and getting new motions and sometimes going into different consoles. What you're watching right now is a difference between Madden 22 on a new gen or current gen console and an old gen console. Now the fluidity problem lies in one, how he's even running in the first place. Like he's flailing his arm, he's doing high knees, and the same thing is played, but one is faster and one is slower. One person gets to the touchdown quicker, one doesn't. When it comes to cuts, the cuts are even different. The cuts are slower. Honestly, what a running back prides himself on is cutting fast. This is how Adrian Peterson got 2,000 yards. This is how Chris Henry got 2,000 yards. You don't actually put a whole bunch of motion into the things that you're doing. You actually want to do everything as quick as possible. So for the new motions to be slower kind of doesn't make sense until it does later on in later iterations of Madden. So then you got Madden 08 right here. This is for the last gen when it comes to the Xbox 360 versus Xbox. And you know, they have a whole bunch of things when it comes to the Pro Bowl. They just added the Pro Bowl in the NFL 20 when it comes to the stats. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like trying to bring back stats, but they still don't have like the team and all that other stuff. Being able to export your team into the regular mode, which Retro Bowl actually has. Shout out to Retro Bowl. Creating a stadium, not just picking one. You can actually create what it looks like. And of course, they've had superstar X Factor abilities in Madden 08, and they actually affected more than what they do now. It's not just gameplay, it was the fans, it was how they got traded, the value they got traded. It affected a few things off of the field and including on the field. And then they had the recruiting game. You know, after the season ended, you had the East versus West college people playing against each other. So then, of course, there's some things that have to come out when it comes to the 360. They did have some things that's even more right now than the current Maddens that we have now, because they obviously had to cut even more out, which would be this stuff right here that you're looking at for Madden 08 for the 360. Well, of course, they cut out the Pro Bowl and other things like that. You know, they tried their best to try to upgrade at the same time, kind of keep the same thing. You know, it was a little bit choppy at first, but that's how it goes. The first iteration of Madden on the newest console is usually going to be the Madden 08 going into the Madden 08 for 360. Things were a little bit different. The player models were a little bit bulkier. It just wasn't exactly as fluid as the old gen until they got into Madden 11. So now we're looking at Madden, the new gen or current gen. It just looks broken. I mean, the defense looks broken. This isn't necessarily a flex when you're doing these things. You can see by the way people are moving. It's terrible, man. Tackling has never been improved when it came to user tackling. User tackling is probably the worst it's ever been in any of the other consoles ever. Like, can you really ask yourself, is that a flex?
No.
So when it comes to the sliders are some of the most important things when it comes to playing realistically and actually being able to have somewhat of a good sim going. Quarterback accuracy, pass blocking, wide receiver catching needs to be down some, because you actually need to be able to drop passes. That's a real thing in the NFL. People actually drop passes, believe it or not. Even when you're going to throw it for a touchdown and they're open. That happens. That happens in the real NFL when people are open for a touchdown and it's too sweet and they end up dropping the pass because they lost concentration. That's really what happens. So you kind of need room for that to happen. Reaction time and interceptions, reaction time needs to go down. The better the reaction time, the lower the rating is, okay? They don't actually tell you that in Madden. And also interceptions, I like to keep it at 25 for user because this is all Madden. All Madden automatically has the one up on you on every single category. So pass coverage is at 75. The higher the pass coverage, the more they're aware within zones and man. That's not to be confused with the reaction time when there is the ball running and when you pass the ball, when the ball is being thrown in the air and things are happening, the reaction time being lower makes everything faster. So fumbles being at 55, just because fumbles do happen. I know the quarterback running kind of induces some type of fumbling fit sometimes, but for the most part, wide receivers, running backs, you know, they fumble. You need room for that to happen. Not all the time, but some of the time. So we're looking at the X1 wise guy thing right here. It's not necessarily his fault. Sometimes you have to be aware, right? Not only of the play or of the game plan, but of Madden itself. So right now we're looking at a play that I'm doing. It's a play action. I just did a hot route with Justin Jefferson to the right. It's a slant to the right. He had a comeback to the left. I realized the comeback was going to be too long of a route for him to do for me to be safe. All right, because I'm looking at the defensive line. They're spread out. I have 3 people wide out over there. The tight end is not blocking. He's my second safety valve that I'm going to be seeing. I have an in, and Thielen's going deep. For me, I'm realizing, okay, there's a lot of people in the box. When I say the box, that's between the tackles and the linebackers. All right, my tackles, their linebacker. There's a lot of people in the box. Some people could be blitzing. People may not be blitzing. Either way, you kind of have to be mindful of how many people are just there in the first place. And on top of that, I'm doing play action, so I'm not really going to have that much time. So that's why I hot routed the slant. Let's see how that goes. Wow, would you look at that? Somebody is completely open on the defensive side, the defensive line. I kind of already suspected that to happen. Sometimes when you're running the ball, doing the play action to one side, the tackle just completely fails to just do his job. And it's not necessarily within the pass blocking thing, more so of a Madden thing. This is more so of a legacy issue. So, you know, sometimes user and Madden. This is the whole point of me doing that hot route, because I'm not passing it specifically to Justin Jefferson straight up. I'm passing it to where he's going. That's my safety valve. And lo and behold, he catches it on the hash.
Oh my God!
Now, we're doing a running play, and would you look at this? All right, this is not a user error. This is a Madden error happening right here. You get the ball, and they make you shift all types of ways. They're trying to do something realistic and add all these motions, and it just looks clunky. You're trying to run to the right, but you end up running late to the right because you got control of the player late. So I'm running a halfback zone. It's spread, it's shotgun, it's 5-on-5 in the box, in the tackle box. You see the Mike linebacker, he's ahead of the center. I'm expecting the center to pick him up. I'm expecting everybody to be one-on-one. It's 4th and 1, so I'm definitely expecting to fall forward and get this first down. That's what should be happening, right? The only difference between this old gen and current gen is the fact that I can say hike, and I already have control of the player. I don't have to stutter step. There is no resetting. Would you look at that? Now, I wouldn't go to the right because person on the center, the Mike linebacker, is kind of swimming to the right. He's moving to the right, so it wouldn't make sense. Also, what Madden doesn't tell you is you do not press the sprint trigger until you're in open space. So right now, I am not pressing the sprint trigger. You do not press it the moment you get the ball. What I was saying about fluidity when you get the ball. Look at that. I already have control of the running back. First down. All right, so we're going to the next play. We got another running play. Went to the left. I have a pass play, but I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at the tackle box. I'm like, I don't know if I could drop back. I'm definitely not doing the play action. If I run to the right, that's not going down. So I'm going to go ahead and run to the left. See people overloaded on the right. My right. The offense is right. Their left. The defensive line is pretty tough. I don't expect our offensive line to really hold up like that because these linemen do not play on this Washington team. The linemen are very talented, almost just as talented as the Rams linemen, okay? So I'm running the ball to the left because I feel like I have a better chance. I have blockers over there. I can lead block over there with the fullback, and I have somebody already running over there in motion. Oh, would you look at that? Defensive line just completely destroyed my offensive line. There's literally somebody on each part of the field. On the right side, there's somebody. In the middle, there's somebody. On the left, there's somebody. Me doing a play action, me dropping back would have been a disaster. It would have been an automatic safety. There's no way I could have dropped back on a defense like that. That is user right there. That's user. Now let's get into Madden. Now this right here, first of all, as a user, I cut. It was very fluid. You can barely tell. There was no extra motions, no chopping of the feet, no slowing down, none of that. That's how running backs run, by the way. Now my problem with Madden doesn't lie in the running back or the people that are already blocked. My problem with Madden lies in Justin fucking Jefferson right there. I see nothing but green. This should be a touchdown, and or if somebody hawks him, 70-yard run, minimum. This was the correct audible. This was the right play. I ran the ball correctly. I just now, within a yard or two, hit the sprint trigger. Let's see what happens. Justin Jefferson fucking jogs.
Why?
So let's get into computer skill. Quarterback accuracy, 75. Quarterback accuracy not only affects the accuracy of the quarterback, but it affects the awareness of the quarterback. It affects the clutch ability of the quarterback. It affects the scrambling ability of the quarterback. The lower you have it, the less aware they are in the pocket. If you have a scrambling quarterback, he's more likely to scramble in the right places at the right time when the quarterback accuracy is higher. There's a lot of things grouped into quarterback accuracy, and it's not just his arm. Pass blocking, wide receiver catching, of course, it's on all Madden, of course. So instead of 45, it's 40 because there's a lot of things all Madden likes to do. You know, they like to one up. They're always ahead of you. So you kind of have to nerf it just a tiny bit so you're even. So they can drop passes and you can drop passes and both of you are just dropping passes. Not all the time. Fumbles are the same. Reaction time is 15 instead of 5 because, once again, all Madden, they're ahead of you, evening it out. Interceptions, 15 instead of 25. I feel like when the interceptions are on 25 or above on Madden, all Madden especially, things get a little wonky, things get a little tricky, things, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, it gets a little bit unrealistic when it comes to things above 25 in the interception category when it comes to the computer. That's when you see the warping. That's when you see just the unrealistic, like, linebackers jumping 50 feet in the air, or like people not even seeing the ball but being able to intercept it. Like, there's a lot of these legacy issues that happen when the interceptions are on 25 or above, and the default is 50. So if you're playing on 50 default, then you're damn near playing arcade. I mean, let's just be real. And then pass coverage, 65 instead of 75 because you use your 75. You still want them to be able to be in coverage. You still want them to be able to react. You still want them to be able to basically play a regular defense. You have to somewhat give them the ability to, because you know it's all Madden. Despite the sliders, you have to realize that all Madden is going to give it a step up than what you already have. So you kind of have to think about that. So just an example of what that looks like in real life. I have a play action pass right here. I have people going in. Right now, I should be looking at I should be looking at the running back safety valve just in case, because X covered by 3 people over there, really 2. Y, there's a person right there. The corner covering X could, close in on Y. And then you got B. B was already covered. So that right there, I can't be mad. So let's go back to the reaction time. I'm looking, I already hiked the ball. I'm about to get to my 3rd second. And I see that the safety came down to cover the running back. All right. So if I see the safety coming down to cover the running back, I see that everyone else is a man. And I see his safety up there, but he's shaded to the right because somebody's doing a corner. If I know that JJ is doing a post, a deep post, and he's playing man to man against not one of the greatest corners, it's a Giants corner after all, then I've already made my decision. I just have to wait for the perfect time. Boom. That is where the reaction time, because it looks realistic, and the catching on the user side comes through. 3 seconds, man. You have 3 seconds. I just showed you what happens when you don't wait 3 seconds. That right there was three or less. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not gonna work out for you. Now let's look at this, because the defensive reaction needs to happen, but the interception being at 15 is the whole point of why you can get past deflections, and you can also get drops because there's a reason they're on defense and not offense. Not every interception opportunity ends up as an interception. So right now I'm showing you a play. I have 3 seconds. I'm making my decision. But this is the first time and the only time that right there has happened in the season. But it happens. That's actually realistic. So let me show you something else realistic. This is a game-winning play right here against the 49ers. I wanted to break it down for you. I'm already going through the motions of a play action. I'm looking at the field. And I'm seeing the receivers. I see that Adam Thielen is ahead of his guy. So right now I already threw the ball. It was 3 seconds. I threw the ball already. Thielen hasn't even turned around yet. But that's okay because no one else is open other than maybe someone below him. But that might not, work out that well. He's running a comeback. So this is where all the sliders between human and computer meet. You can see, you can look around. Ain't nobody open. This is where it meets, right here. You can see the defensive back trying to intercept the ball. He can't because he's behind him. In real life, Thielen would be boxing him out for the comeback. I mean, the animations are not there for Madden. So all of this wide receiver, corner, battle, hands going left and right, jersey pulling, that's not necessarily gonna be happening because it's not that realistic. At the same time, this is the pinnacle of Madden. This is as good as it's gonna get. Right here, you see these trying to intercept the ball and he can't. You see the ball is in a certain spot to where only Adam Thielen can get it. I mean, this is it. This is as good as Madden will get. There's no choppiness. There's none of that. So then you get to offside and false start. Of course, offside, false start are going to be high because if you put it at 50, it's just never going to be called on either side. Holding is up a little bit. And here's another thing when it comes to the game sliders, right? It has to be the same as the main menu. The main menu only goes by 5, so you have to round it. If it's 53 or 54, it has to be 55 in the main menu. If it's like 52, 51 in the franchise, then it has to be 50 in the main menu. Do you get what I'm saying? It has to be somewhat even, or else it's just not going to make sense. So the defensive pass interference is at 70. I mean, it gets called, but it doesn't get called too often. It's the same thing as false start and offside. It has to be up there, but the ones that are at 51, that means they get called, but if you go further than 50 or 51, it'll be called too much. So illegal blocking in the back is at 51. Face mask is at 51. Anything more than that, it's not going to look too good. Roughing the passes at 50 because it's going to happen either way. You don't want to call too often. So then we get to a play, and it's like, boom, realistic. Defender, receiver, battling, receiver wins. You get to another one. What can you see? It's 3 seconds. Do you see anything? Well, I'll tell you this. I know that my guy is doing an in. So no one can get behind the safety. That's why he's backing up. The guy over there is about to do Thielen. He's about to do a post. So guess what? I throw the in on the inside. Boom. There it is. But that's just football. So you can get to Madden 24. You can go all Madden competitive. You can do all types of whatever. But at the same time, if you don't have the sliders, then there's no point.
Hold up! What is this shit?
Like, come on, what are we looking at? What is that? What was that? But of course, when it comes to having the sliders, you know, a 4th and 1, a 4th and 2, that can work out. A running play, that works out. You know what I mean? Things work out a little bit more when everything connects. So, when it comes to playbooks, I just want to let y'all know that there's only 250 plays in each playbook. This is what Madden has been doing for a very long time. They switch around the plays when it comes to the live playbooks, but at the same time, you have 250. If you go into the playbooks and you go into the scenarios, the first and the second and the thirds, or if you go into a defensive playbook and you go into the nickels and the dimes and the whatever you want to call it, it's all very minimal. The default is very minimal. This is why it's hard to go in between playbooks. Sad to say, if you really want results in your playbooks, you're either gonna have to super sim or play the game, because the playbooks are gonna be so minimal, so minuscule, that it's not really gonna matter which one you pick, because the plays aren't in there. There's a vast amount of plays in Madden itself, a whole lot of them. The reason I feel like, if you go into my Madden QB1 playlist, the reason I feel like our defense did so well was because I picked 500. That's twice the amount. I have 500 plays in that playbook. And within that playbook, I have the max amount, which I think is 34. And default has like maybe 15, so it's the same plays over and over again, and they're base plays. They're not like specific. There's no specific blitzes or anything like that. It's just plays, base plays. It's very easy. I know the defensive playbook is a little intimidating to think of at first, to have a created defensive playbook, but they broke it down very easily. It's just they have dime plays, so you put all your dime plays in the dime play category. You put all your nickel plays in the nickel play category, and then you have your first down and maybe your fourth down, and that's about it, honestly. Like, I think you have maybe a 4-3 or 3-4, whatever one you want to choose. You put certain plays in that, but it's the whole point of having 500 instead of 250. And it's the whole point of having 34 instead of 15. So I don't play defense. I super sim defense. I'm offense only. But I can trust my defense because I know when the formation is supposed to be happening, there's a multitude of things that could be happening that maybe the offense just can't mess with. I do the same thing on offense because the offense playbooks are the exact same thing. 250 plays, 15 to maybe even 10, maybe even 5 in certain formations. Very minimal. But if you have a 500 play playbook and you put 34 in each of the scenarios, the offensive playbook is a little bit more detailed. I will say, I would have thought the offense would have been easier than the defense, but the defense is way easier than the offense. Not even easier, just tedious. The offense is more tedious to do, but you know, the first and shorts, the first and longs, the second and longs, third and longs, third and short, second and short, fourth down, red zone, backed up on your own 5, goal line. They have goal line pass, which is separate from goal line. You know, they have the time clock when you want to run out the clock. They have Hail Mary. There's so many different scenarios that are minimal within 250 plays. And if you were to expand these plays, if you were just to make these plays just a little bit more optional, adding more plays into that. In each scenario, you can be able to super sim offense. I don't super sim offense, but you will be able to super sim offense from your playbook and actually look at your offense like a coach. And if you have a custom playbook for defense, you will be able to completely be a coach 100% offense and defense just by the plays that you choose. Not you choosing it in the game, but you choosing it in the game plan of your playbook. And also they have stars. The more stars that you give a play within your playbook, the more you trust it. You trust it more. There's a play that you might like more than another play and you give it 4 stars and the other play 2.5, and then you're gonna see that certain play a little bit more in the situations that you want it to be in. But that's how detailed that you have to be in order to be satisfied with Madden. You have to be satisfied sliders with the accuracy, with the fumbles, with the defense on both player and computer. You have to be satisfied with the playbooks that you make, because the default playbooks are just not gonna be enough. And then on top of that, I mean, the current gen fluidity is just, it's not proper yet. I think by the time we get to the next Madden after this one, it'll be smoother. And most likely the next Madden after that one is gonna be even smoother. For right now, if you compare old gen fluidity to new gen fluidity, it's too choppy, it's too slowed down, and it's just not right. So yes, I will be getting current gen, most likely the Xbox, but I don't know, I've been eyeing the PS5 like a side chick, low-key. But I will get it, just not at this current moment, because there's really no point. And people just want to like this new Madden so bad, but everything new is not gold. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's better. So right now, yeah, I'm working on Madden 23.
Oh, hell no!
Old gen, trying to keep the fluidity, and we're gonna work on this season the same way I did Madden 22. So subscribe.
Do you understand?